Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Between the Numbers Sports Podcast and Show. I'm your host, Daryl, and today we're going to be diving into the season preview of the UK Bobcats. So, football season, college football season, NFL is right around the corner, and this is the time to start doing uh, the season previews. We're so close, ladies and gentlemen, to the start of the season. I'm excited. So, let's jump right on into it. So, Mark Stoops is heading into his 12th season at UK, right? Mark is definitely going to have a competitive team. He's always going to have a competitive team at Kentucky, but it won't be easy to replace some of the talent that left last season. I'm going to put up uh, a graphic, right? So this is some of the notable departures from last season. So quarterback Devin Leary, running back Ray Davis, linebacker Tevin Wallace, cornerback um, Andrew, if I'm saying that right, Andrew Phillips, tight end Brendan Bates. Uh, they lost the O lineman and wide receiver Tavon Robinson, right? And so those guys have moved on to the NFL to the next level. And so those departures are definitely going to be felt. But I do think that uh, Mark Stoops and his coaching staff have done everything that they could to, soften the blow of losing those departures. Now, Kentucky added some weapons on both sides of the ball via the transfer portal. So this season is going to come down to the trenches, right? The trenches, pretty much on every team, defines the success of the team, right? Whether it's the NFL or college football, if your offensive line and your defensive line sucks, then it's probably going to have um, a rough season. And more importantly, the offensive line for Kentucky, because Kentucky, you know, they're going to have a new quarterback playing. So they're going to need a decent offensive line to keep him, upright and healthy. Like I said, it's going to come down to the trenches. The offensive line, it definitely struggled in 2023, and aside for from Deani Walker, you know, how good can this defensive line really be coming into this 2024 season? And also, like again, Kentucky is going to have a new starting quarterback, presumptively Brock Vandegrift, the transfer 5-star from Georgia. And so the importance of a good offensive line is definitely going to be paramount to see just how good Brock Vandegrift is and to see if he's going to be able to live up to his 5-star billing, right? So real fast, let's just look at the head coaches, right? So Mark Stoop went out and hired Bush Handum from Boise State to be the Wildcats offensive coordinator after Liam Cohen left for the NFL. Handon will have again 5-star prospect Georgia transfer Brock Vandegrift to direct offense. Um, and like I said, last year the starting quarterback was Devin Leary, but you know Vandergrift didn't play much at Georgia, and so he transferred to Kentucky, and he's looking to lead this Kentucky offense to greener pastures. And so excited about that. Excited to finally be able to see Vandergrift play and see what he has to offer in terms of going against the best in the SEC. The running back room is going to be highlighted by former Ohio State Buckeye Damani Chip Tradim, if I'm saying that right. He ran for 373 yards and 3 touchdowns a year ago. At wide receiver, you're going to have Baron Brown and Dane Key, right? They're both coming back from last year. They're both going to be juniors, and they're going to be, in my opinion, looking at their stats, looking at some of their film, uh, they're going to be one of the best wide receiver tandems in the SEC. Last season, Brown hauled in 43 passes for 539 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Key led the Wildcats in receiving with 42 receptions and 636 yards and 6 touchdowns. So these guys together, are going to form a very dynamic duo. And so that's one of the things that I think Kentucky fans can be excited about. But again, the offense will come down to how well the offensive line can protect. Um, um, sorry, uh, how well the offensive line can protect Vandegrift. Sorry about that. I had a brain fart. And they have a really stern, really good, stout left tackle in Marquise Cox. Um, that's going to be playing this season. So, a quarterback best friend is his tackle. So, again, Kentucky fans can rest assured in, hey, at least you guys got one good tackle on that offensive line, right? So, it won't be all that bad if you had to ask me. Of course, let's jump into the defensive side of the ball. So, the defensive side of the ball is probably going to be uh, the strongest unit for this Kentucky team coming into the 2004 season. Kentucky defense was second in the SEC last season against the run. That's huge, allowing only 113 yards per game on the ground. Um, and a lot of that run stopping was courtesy of the big man up front, De'Anthony Walker, who we talked about earlier. And he's expected to be a top 10 pick in NFL draft in 2025. A year ago, Walker had 55 tackles, 7.5 sacks. The 6'6", 350-pound monster up front will be a problem, right? With a capital P for a lot of teams this upcoming season. The Wildcats are also getting back at cornerback Maxwell Harrison. He led the team last year with 5 interceptions, and he is expected to be a shutdown corner, coming into this season on defense. And then, of course, Kentucky went back into the Georgia transfer wishing well, I call it, right? Not only did they get a quarterback, but they also got a linebacker who's looking to make some noise in Jamon Dumas Johnson. And so, he's going to be headline a strong linebacker core. He had 34 tackles, 3.5 sacks last season for the Bulldogs on that elite defense. We know how elite Georgia's defense is. So anytime you're able to snatch up one of those guys off that defense, especially that linebacker, you got to clap, right? You got to be excited about that. And so UK is without a doubt in my books bringing back one of the top SEC defenses this season. Also, they're bringing back non-returning starters, so that's huge. You got to think about it. Obviously, we all know simple math. There's 11 starters on both sides of the ball for offense and defense, and Kentucky is bringing back 9 returning starters. So 9 out of 11 starters on that defense they're bringing back. That's huge. That's huge. That's huge. That experience, that playmaking ability, that's huge for Kentucky. So I know that the fans in Kentucky have to be excited about that aspect of it. And now we're going to be previewing, I think, the second strongest unit for this Kentucky team, which is special teams, right? Special teams is huge. I don't care what people say. Some people think that special teams is not important for a team. I would say that's a lie. Place kicker, hopefully I don't jack this up, Alex Raynor was 10 of 11 last year on field goals, including 5 of 6 from 40 yards and 40 yards plus. And he's going to be a true weapon this season. He's coming back to the Bobcats. And then you guys got Byron Brown. He's going to be returning kicks for the Wildcats again. He led college football last season with 3 kickoff returns for touchdowns in 2023. So that's huge. Again, I think that's going to be the second strongest unit for this Kentucky team. First being that defense. And again, if the offensive line can protect Vandegrift, I think that, Kentucky is going to see a lot of success, and they're going to upset some teams, and they're going to sneak up on some teams. So in closing, where do I think, Kentucky is going to fall? So let's pull up the schedule, right? So I don't know if you guys can see the schedule. Hopefully you can. So that's the schedule. Um, they got some pretty tough games. You got Ole Miss, you got Georgia, you got Texas. Tennessee is not going to be a slouch. Uh, you know, Kentucky owns Louisville, but every year things change, right? But that's the schedule. When I was doing my research for this video, I seen a lot of people were saying that Kentucky has a pretty easy schedule. I don't think so. I'm an LSU fan. I'm not a Kentucky fan, but I don't think Kentucky has an easy schedule. I think anytime that you got to play Texas, Tennessee, Ole Miss, we all know what Ole Miss done in the transfer portal. And obviously, anytime you got to play Georgia, I think that's a tough schedule. But it's the SEC. That you guys have a great coach in Mark Stoops. And so I think that, again, if the defense can be, better than last year or just up to the par that it was last year, you got a real strong special teams unit. And if the offensive line can protect Vandegrift, and if Vandegrift can live up to his 5-star billing, I think that the Kentucky Wildcats can win. I think they can win 8 games. I'm being honest. I think they can win 8 games. I don't gamble. I don't know what the Vegas odds is, whether or not they're over under 8 games, but I think they can win 8 games or more. And I think that Kentucky can sneak up on a lot of teams and surprise a few teams. Now, I'm not going to go out there and say that they're going to make the playoffs. I really don't know. Who knows? It's just a predictor from my point of view, right? But I definitely think Kentucky can win 8 games, and I definitely think that Kentucky is going to be playing in a bowl game. Which bowl game, I don't know, but I definitely think Kentucky is going to be playing in a bowl game at the end of 2024. And so if I was a Kentucky fan and I was worried about anything on this team, I'll be worried about the offensive line first, and then I'll be worried about the quarterback play, because anytime you're breaking in a new quarterback, you're always going to have some reservations about that player's success. So all right, so yeah, let me know how y'all feel about the Kentucky Wildcats in the 2024 season. Let me know in the comments whether or not you think Kentucky is gonna kick ass and take names, or let me know if you think Kentucky is gonna regress beyond what they were last year in the comment section. And as always, thanks to everyone who supported the channel. And don't forget to leave a like on the video, a comment, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification button so you can stay up to date on all of the latest videos that's dropped here on this channel. Until next time, I'm out.